the day, and we can't thank you enough for just enjoying the whole weekend, joining us, and also you guys were so loud, and we are so thankful for all of you. And what a better way than none other to end this panel with a very cool person. Are y'all ready to meet him? All right, everyone, please give a big Houston welcome to Jeremy Shada. Hello, I'm like, here, you'll get the middle seat. We're right in the middle. All eyes on you.
Hello, hello, hello. Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing today? So I think this is technically. Oh wow! Hello, me. Right? Look at that. There's Big Me right behind me. That's crazy.
Shout out to Paul over there who's making the cool graphics.
Yes. Thank you guys for coming out today. It's been an awesome weekend. I've already met probably a lot of you throughout the weekend, and you guys have been really great. And to get some energy in this panel, because I know it's the end of a long 3 days of a con. There's so many things you gotta go see, so many things to do. I'll just ask you one question to get us going. What time is it? Nice, that sounds great.
Listen, I need to keep you in pocket. That's how we should start every panel, right?
Get some energy, you need it on day 3.
No, well, thank you so much. And like you mentioned, it's been an exciting last 3 days, and you've been so busy. Every time I walk by your table, I was like, I get to see, he's our last piece. He's gonna be exhausted, but
we like being busy. It's good. You know, it's funny. Like, I think when things are slower, it's actually a little bit more exhausting. But when you're busy and you're just going, like it kind of gives you more energy. It's a little bit more like having adrenaline from it. You know, it's the second that you like go afterwards and just sit down, and then you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired now. But until you go and stare at a wall, like you keep up the energy. It's nice.
Yeah, and listen, you've done so much amazing work. You brought so much magic and joy to our screens, and we're so happy that you're here in Houston, Texas with us. But I guess throwing it back, when you were growing up and kind of learning things, watching things, what was something that you would watch that perhaps you would say that kind of encouraged you to pursue, or kind of like to pursue this career?
Acting in general. It's so funny, like I started from such an early age. I started acting at like 5, and my older brother started before me, and he's about 4 years older, and like he got his first job, and I like got to go to set and like watch him work. I think it was Charlie Angels 2. It's very random, but it was very cool. I got to go to set and watch him, and like, this is how movies are made. This is so cool. And from that point on, I was like, I want to do that. That is so awesome. And I mean, like, as a kid growing up, you have your favorite movies and TV shows, like, at that age, like Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, all these things was definitely what I was injecting into my everything for entertainment. But yeah, and then like, it really started with kind of on-camera acting, and then I think when you're a little kid that age, you don't really understand that like voiceover is a thing. Like, you just kind of think like, oh, that cartoon is that cartoon. Like, that's not a person doing that. It's like, Mickey Mouse is Mickey Mouse, or whatever it is. And so the agency I was with on camera, they had a voiceover department, and for a lot of times, if they want like a natural sounding younger kid, sometimes you got the ladies that do the younger guy voices in VO, but if they want like a really natural sounding kid, a lot of times will just go from people that are already there acting and on camera. It's just easier. And so yeah, I kind of stumbled into that a little bit. Started with little radio commercials, and then worked my way up, and have been working now for acting for 24 years, I think, at this point. 29, so it's kind of crazy. So yeah, it's just been pretty much my whole life at this point.
Yes, and we're happy you have been doing that.
Thank you.
And we have to talk Adventure Time. How did that come together?
Yeah, so I was 12 when I booked the role to play Finn, and my older brother Zach played the role of Penn when it was like a Nickelodeon short pilot. Nickelodeon didn't pick it up to series, and then they kept pitching the short for like 3 years after that. It wasn't until 3 years later that Cartoon Network picked it up to series, and I think they just assumed that whoever the kid was that did it originally, his voice probably changed, and so they just opened it up for auditions. And I watched the short. It was on YouTube. It was kind of a cult hit at that point. And my voice sounded so much like his did when he originally did it. Pretty close. So I just auditioned, did my thing, got a call back, and then got the job, and nobody knows his younger brother until the first day of recording. They just thought they got very lucky with someone that sounded pretty much just like him. And then I've been doing it ever since. So yeah, I've played Finn for coming up on 16 years now, something like that. I still did, I just did the Fiona and Cake season 2 last year. So it's just crazy starting something at 12 years old and still doing it in some way, shape, or form at 29. I'm married, I have a kid, I have another kid on the way. Thank you, yeah. So I've gone through a lot of life as Adventure Time has gone through all of its life, and it's very crazy.
I can imagine. Well, I'll have so many more questions for you, but we have amazing people here who have lined up, which that rarely happens. I usually I'm like, okay, come on up.
I feel honored. I feel very special. Thank you for lining up to ask me.
And I don't want to steal your questions, so.
Hopefully I have the good answers to your questions. And I'll try to get through these. Thank you. I'll try to get through these as speedy as possible because I have a hard out to go get in a plane and go home later tonight. But I want to make sure I get through as many as possible. So if I give you shorter answers, that's probably why.
A question per person, please. All right, thank you.
But you're first up. Start us out.
Hello, my name is Brittany.
Hello, Brittany.
My question is kind of like a pretty lame one. I just want to know if you're still able to do Finn's iconic scream.
Oh, you mean the Yeah.
Yes,
I guess I am. Yeah. I guess I believe I can. I think I did. I do think it's slightly lower pitched than it originally was, probably just barely, but yeah, I can still do that.
I mean, you are older, so
that's true.
Makes sense. I just want to know if you can still do it. You can.
That was a great question. You thought it was dumb. It was not a great. It was very good.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi, I'm Sophia. I love you as Finn and Gingerbread. And I just wanted to know, what's your favorite episode that you recorded, or like your song, like a favorite song?
I think my favorite song in the show is not even one that I sang. I love Everything Stays, the big, very cool Marceline song. I think like favorite episode, it's hard. There's so many of them. There are so many episodes, but one that I come back to a lot is the Card Wars episode. I just love that it's this big, epic fantasy questing show about going on adventures and fighting evil creatures and monsters, and there's just a whole episode dedicated to sitting indoors and playing a card game. Like, that's the entirety of it. It's just very ironic and awesome. And it's also relatable. I have 2 older brothers, and we grew up playing a lot of board games and card games, and Jake being like an absolute sore loser and sore winner just brings me back to the days of getting way too angry about card games with my brothers, so I relate to that episode.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello.
I like your dress.
Hi. Everything Stays is also my favorite song in the series too. It's wonderful. I was just gonna ask, because you said that you started at 12 years old, so you basically kind of grew up as Finn grew up in the series. Yeah. So what was it like growing up together with your character?
I think it's a very surreal thing. I mean, people will come up to me and say like, I love that show, I grew up watching it. That was like my whole childhood was watching that show, and we're like the same age, so that's kind of, that's always a little bit funny. But I think it's just special. I'm very thankful to be Finn, to have that role, to have had that role. It's not very often that you get a show that people really take to and love and appreciate to such an extent that you get to do 10 seasons and spin-offs and specials and all the things. So I'm just very thankful. Finn's very close to my heart for that reason. But it's interesting, like, I think you go through stuff as you're growing up and you're maturing, and Finn goes through stuff as well, obviously, huge throughout the show. So I just think it's cool to, especially in animation, have a character that ages throughout the show, and you really get to track his adolescence the whole time. And we have very different upbringings, obviously. I'm not going on a quest with a magical dog and fighting creatures in my day-to-day, But there's those little bits of relatability, when he's like, with all the relationships and like learning how to handle those things well, and he messes up a lot of times. There's all those things that end up weirdly mirroring, real life in certain ways, which is very cool. But yeah, I just think I'm thankful. You're happy to have a job, period, as an actor, because there's no guarantee. Even now, I've done a lot of things, and it's still hard to book things. So getting a job, awesome. Having it go more than one season, super awesome. And the fact that ours is still doing stuff 16 years later is the most awesome. So I'm just very, very thankful.
We're happy to have you, and thank you for coming to Houston.
Of course. What's up, dude?
Hi, my name's Makai. What's your favorite adventure in Adventure Time?
Favorite adventure in Adventure Time? That's good. It's an early one, but I do love the Trouble in Lumpy Space episode, very much so. Mainly because I got to do the LSP impression. Oh my God, Jack, I'm kind of blessed. You can't sit on my ball. So probably that one, because you get the lumps, and I got to do the LSP impression. So yeah, I'd say that one. Great question.
Thank you. Hello.
Hi. I'm Sydney. I was just gonna ask, what was like your favorite alternate version of Finn?
I would say early on it was like the kind of the, I forget what he's technically called, but it's almost like the Finn that has the Ice King crown. So I don't know what, I forget what you would technically call him, but it's like kind of Ice Finn, I guess. That one was fun just because the voices, especially early on, was like way more different. You got to put like a little bit of Ice King in there, which is really funny, and he's just so manic and crazy. So I love that one. Now, I really enjoy doing the adult Farm World Finn in Fiona and Cake because it's just so different than all of the other versions of Finn, and I get to really play around with kind of changing the voice, making it a little bit gruffer and deeper, which is really just closer to my normal voice now, as opposed to classic Finn, you know. So it's kind of cool to do that. So I would say that one.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello. So Finn kind of started off in the series as this like generic little boy, and then turned into a really intricate character, and then a really intricate like adult guy. Did you ever think, like growing up in the earlier seasons, that he would ever turn into this character that has like so much depth to him?
Heck no, definitely not. You know, I mean, I didn't even know what was happening in the show in the first season. I'm like, what is? None of this makes sense. There's non sequiturs. I'm having a hard time tracking. And most of Finn early on was like 100, you know, at 100 constantly. Just lots of screams, lots of, you know, like all that stuff. And so then it was nice to find levels as we kept going. But a lot of those things, like, you know, you kind of start something and you give a performance. And when writers first make a character, they have in their mind, obviously, what the character is. And once you start recording, then they're like, oh, there's some little nuances and levels that are there. Like, let's play into that. And so then the writing kind of mirrors more what you're doing over time as well. It goes from being like, we think the character is this type of archetype. And then you start doing it, and you're like, oh, we can actually do this, this, and this. And it's the things that you wouldn't think of initially. So it's kind of a cool symbiotic thing. And then also, we got so many seasons that at a certain point, you're like, we can't just keep doing one-off episodes. Like, we're running out of ideas. Like, we gotta do some longer form arcs and stuff. And they have the freedom, once you're doing a show that is going that long, to like do more of that stuff. So it became very, very cool to backfill the lore and tie it all together and make it a much more epic show. But it just feels like the show kind of grows with the audience. You know, if you started as a little kid, the farther you get through it, the more the show's overall themes mature as well as you do. So it's kind of cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And we have 10 minutes.
10 minutes, we can do it. I think we can do it.
Hi.
What's up, dude?
Hi, my name is Bodhi.
I met you earlier, Bodhi. How you doing?
My question is, who is your favorite villain from Adventure Time?
Ooh, I like it. It's a great question. I mean, the Lich is pretty terrifying, pretty scary. I kind of like Ricardio just because it's George Takei, and he's just so funny. So yeah, George Takei playing a little heart that wants to rip out Princess Bubblegum's heart and make out with it is, that's a sentence I just said. But yeah, it's just hilarious to me. So I like Ricardio. I would say the Ice King, but I don't really even consider him like a villain in the show, and he's actually one of my all-time favorite characters. He kind of goes from like the very generic, you know, mustache twirling villain, and then he becomes like a weird roommate that you can't really get rid of and is just kind of hanging around. And you're like, I feel bad, I can't like kick him out, but like, he's kind of annoying. It's a very fun trajectory. But yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Thank you so much.
He just goes,
Hi.
yes I did.
Hi.
Hello.
So I wanted to ask, as a young father myself as well,
Yes.
did you, when you found out that you were having a kid, did you get any advice from any of the cast, or like fatherly advice, or just preparing to be a parent, anything like that?
Not from the cast. I mean, on top of that, like, a lot of the cast doesn't really. I think Tom might be the only one that has kids out of the main cast that plays obviously Ice King and SpongeBob. But I have a really very thankful and very blessed to have an amazing, close knit family and friends, and we have a little community with lots of siblings and in-law siblings, brothers-in-laws and sisters-in-laws that are also starting to have kids and stuff, and amazing aunts and grandmas. So like, you need anything, you turn to all of them, and they were all there to help us through so much of it. And they still are every single day. You always need a little bit of help. So yeah, I couldn't say anything to the cast specifically. I mean, you'll get advice from a lot of different people when they find out that you're becoming a new parent, and they all have their little things, and a lot of it's very helpful. And then some of it you just go, yeah, you kind of got to figure it out. You can prepare as much as you can prepare, but until you have that little one, there's really not a great way to fully prepare for it.
I heard that.
Now we have number 2 on the way, and we're like, oh my gosh. Now it's like, yeah, it'll be fine. The first one, the first like 6 months, you're like so stressed because you're like, oh, like what's gonna happen? And now I'm like, man, that was the easiest part. Like, he's a toddler walking around now. He's got all his opinions. He's going. Even if you're exhausted, he's still going. So it's much more work. And now we're like, we didn't know how good we had it the first 6 months the first time. So, yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Hi, I'm asking this for a friend. So their question is, what is the most strangest line from the show that took you multiple takes to record?
Strangest line from the show?
Yeah, that took you many takes to record.
This is gonna sound like the most arrogant thing of all time. There's very few lines that like I needed to like a ton of takes to like get down. I mean, it's part of the craft is being able to, especially with VO, is like just being able to get takes pretty quickly. So it's like a lot of things. I'm trying to think. I don't really know. I mean, there's ones that you get the giggles on. I couldn't give you like a specific example that totally happens. And it's like very random things. I think probably the only one I would think of is there's a line in the Bears episode where they go in there's like all the party bears that are inside the monster's belly or whatever. And for whatever reason, there's a line where Finn goes like, he's like, we gotta save the bears or something like that, and it's saying like that. But sometimes when you'll have a pickup, they'll have someone do temp audio for like when they're doing the animatic, and they gotta go back and get the line, but they have to put someone in there. So somebody did the temp audio of it, and it just made me laugh because their thing was like an 80s like hair metal take on it doing Finn, and it was like, we gotta save the bears. And I was like, am I supposed to? I mean, I'll do it like that, but. Then I couldn't. It took me a couple takes because that just made me laugh. But yeah, I don't know any like a ton of specifics. You get the giggles at the most random things. Not the things you would honestly even expect half the time. But.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We have 4 minutes.
4 minutes.
So I was just wondering if there's a biggest lesson that you feel like Adventure Time has, I guess like as a whole, the show itself.
That's a good question. I think there's a lot of lessons in it. I don't know what I would condense it down to one thing, but I think for me at least, in terms of Finn as a character, it's just learning about the world as you grow up, and that everything seems very, 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 very black and white when you're younger, and then you realize there's like a lot more nuance and complicated situations, and it's like learning how to still take the best values that you have, even amidst a very complicated, crazy world, and still to your core being heroic and finding that heroic path, even when it's very, very difficult, and messing it up at a lot of times, and realize that you can pick yourself back up and continue on because everybody messes up, and that's what makes a hero, I think. So I guess that's probably what I would say. But there's so many. I mean, it's a massive show. There's lots of themes. So.
Yeah, that's an awesome answer. Thank you.
Hello. Been watching the show since
since I was 11, and I just want to ask you a question. What character would you choose from the series besides your own character?
Choose as in like just as a favorite or like?
Yeah, as a favorite.
Okay. I feel like probably Jake. I think John just does such a great job. His voice is just so awesome, and Jake's just so cool, and he's just this wise, awesome, warm dog that's very funny. And yeah, I love how John plays him. I love the life that he gives to that character through the voice, and yeah, probably Jake. I love Jake.
Thank you for answering my question.
You're welcome, of course.
Hello.
Hey, Jeremy.
Sip.
I saw you yesterday. I was dressed as Fiona, and
You're back.
I was telling you how I watched the show with my 4-year-old and how funny it is. There's so many cool things about Adventure Time. Love the style, love the stories, but the comedy is peak. And I just want to know, like, in the studio when you're, recording, what was like super hard to get through because it was just so funny. You had to keep it.
This is actually going to sound terrible. The thing that I laughed at, it's not me doing a line or anything in the show. There was just a moment of recording that involved Lou Ferrigno that plays Billy. And Lou Ferrigno, for those of you who don't know, is deaf. But you wouldn't know it because he's so good at reading lips that honestly you kind of forget most of the time. And for people that are deaf, like doing any kind of like singing vocal inflection, like it doesn't really, it's kind of hard to translate that because you never heard right, yeah. And so there was, we were in a record and our voice director Kent, bless his heart, love him, he's awesome. He definitely did not realize that Lou Ferrigno is deaf. And there was a line that they wanted Billy to do where it's like almost like his theme, where it's like Billy kind of thing, and they wanted to like sing it himself. And so they're like, all right, cool, go for it. And Lou does his thing and just screams. I won't even do it because it's gonna sound terrible, but he just screams, and then you're like, what? And then you can tell that Kent didn't realize. He's like, yeah, that was good. Let's do one more and just really sing it. Just really sing it like Billy! Billy! And like just like three or four more times to the point where we're like, oh my God, someone please tell him, like, it was just nails on a chalkboard. And then finally, like next week, we came in and John was like, Kid, what the heck are you doing? He was like, oh, I didn't realize. I thought he could hear like a little bit.
Thank you.
So yeah, but Lou is a champ, but he just went with it, man. He just kept doing it. He's awesome.
And this is our last question.
Hi, Jeremy.
Hello.
I've been watching Adventure Time for a very long time.
Yes.
And I've been watching your progress all throughout and like Julie the Phantoms and everything.
Oh, thank you.
I wanted to know how you feel like being part of these shows that take part in everyone's life. Like it's detrimental that every kid grows up with a cartoon. How do you feel being there and seeing your fans?
It's just kind of wild, honestly. I'm very, very thankful. I mean, really, if it wasn't for people liking the work that I do and liking the projects that I'm a part of, I wouldn't be able to continue doing that. That's what I love. I love what I do. I love acting, and so it's just very thankful. I think you do all these things to entertain people, and if you could give someone a laugh at the end of the day and get them out of whatever stuff they're going through, it's kind of the whole point of it. I love getting to be a part of shows that are people comfort shows. It's really fun. And it's just flattering. I'm just thankful that I get to be the guy that is a part of these shows like this that does it. I love what I do, and I'm just very honestly thankful to all of you for supporting the stuff that I do and for watching it and for whatever reason thinking my voice is cool at times, and all the rest. So it's very flattering, and I think that's it. You got to have an attitude of gratitude because it's the best job in the world, and I'm just very thankful that I get to do it. So thanks to all of you, honestly.
Thank you so much. What a way to end the panel. Houston, thank you for your questions, and please let's give it up for Jeremy.
Thank you.
Shada.
Thanks, everybody.